A man has been fatally shot by police in Kawerau while leaving the scene of a bank robbery. The police say the man was 29 years old and a patched Mongrel Mob member. The Independent Police Conduct Authority has been notified and police are carrying out their investigation. No police were injured in the incident and officers are offering their condolences to the man's family. I'm joined now by the District Commander of Bay of Plenty Police, Superintendent Andy McGregor. Superintendent, how did the shooting unfold?
It happened, it started with a family harm incident, which happened about 9 o'clock this morning, where a firearm was discharged. Police were called to the address, and when they arrived, the offender had already left and he'd taken a firearm with him in a vehicle. A short time later, this person robbed the Kawerau First Credit Union.
How many people were in the bank, and was anyone injured?
No one was injured in the bank, thank God. But he presented a firearm at them, and obviously, that's got a very traumatic effect on them psychologically, although they weren't physically injured.
And so when he left the bank, what happened?
We got a sighting of the vehicle on some rural roads between Kawerau and Edgecombe. That was probably about 40 or 50 minutes later. We attempted to stop the vehicle, but he refused to stop. He then, as we were pursuing it, he's fleeing away. He stopped at a U-turn and then actually tried to ram the police vehicles. They took evasive action and from that continued to follow him. He still refused to stop. So at the time of the incident, we activated the Armed Offenders Squad because we received information that he was under the influence of methamphetamine, and obviously he had used the firearm. So it was around about 10:20. He actually stopped himself on State Highway 30, just by the Kakeko racecourse. The Armed Offenders Squad who were there at the time, they were in behind the vehicle, went forward. He then actually presented the fire at them and discharged the shot. They then discharged shots at the offender.
So he shot once and then the AOS shot back?
Fire.
Yeah. Do you know how many times he was struck?
Unsure at this stage. We're still in the initial stages of the investigation. Unknown.
How many officers stood down during the investigation?
Okay, well, not stood down. What we do is, we take them away. Those involved in a shooting, through our trauma policy, they go on leave for about 10 days. And obviously, it's quite a traumatic impact on them. This is when we use firearms, this is something we don't take lightly, and it has a huge psychological effect on them.
So how many officers?
It's a decision that when they don't take lightly to use firearms.
Understood. So the people who are on trauma leave, how many? How many are on trauma leave as a result of this incident then?
Well, there's all those involved in the incident at the moment. And so, if you have a look at the exact number, I'd be speculating, saying what number are on the trauma leave at the moment.
Have you spoken directly to the family of the dead man?
Police are in contact with the family. We have a local constable here in Kawerau who is the family liaison, and he is keeping them updated with what's occurring and what's happened, and especially some of the details around the actual shooting itself.
Is the body still there, and what happens now?
Yeah, the body is still there. The State Highway 30 is still closed. ESR should be carrying out their scene examination at the moment, and once that's completed, we will basically the family will be present before we move the body. We'll have a kamatu there who will be saying karakia. Then will be a post-mortem performed before the body is released back to the family.
This man was known to you in what capacity?
This man was a Mongrel Mob member. Known for us. He'd come back to Kawerau a short time a couple of days ago, within the last couple of days. He'd been elsewhere, and as I say, he had to came under the influence of methamphetamine and had that incident, the family harm incident, with his family.
So up until a couple of days ago, he'd been living away from the town?
Yes, that's correct.
What evidence is there that he had taken meth before this unfolded?
The family members advised us that he had been taking methamphetamine the day before.
And so just before you go over, what period did this whole series of events unfold? How many hours?
It would have been, as I say, these incidents are very quick, very dynamic, an hour and a half.
And obviously all the usual investigations are now underway?
Yes, the IPCA obviously have been advised. They will be carrying out their own investigation and provide oversight for the police investigation, and police are also carrying out several investigations into this incident.
But just on the issue of meth, obviously, and the suggestion that this man had been taking it, how big a problem is that for you in your district?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Methamphetamine is a big problem. We're coming across it every day. People in possession, people using. The good thing is we're working with a lot of iwi service providers for around addiction services, etc., and doing a lot of education around methamphetamine. We can target the dealers, the gang members, etc., but we need to reduce the demand. So we're doing a lot of work in the communities to actually educate the community around the harm of meth, and also looking at how we can improve the addiction services that are currently out there.
Thanks for joining us. That is Superintendent Andy McGregor, who is the District Commander of the Bay of Plenty Police. And that was just about the shooting, the fatal shooting there today, after a man, as you heard, who was supposedly on methamphetamine and had a firearm, robbed a bank and then shot at police.